All right. Well, welcome back to our Nerd Dose Radio podcast, where you're going to get your daily nerd content. How are you feeling today, Zach?
Not too bad. How are you?
To be honest, I'm really mad and a little tired and pissed off today.
I do explain.
Today, pharmacy school just kind of kicked my butt personally because we just had our OSCE today.
Anyways, it's pretty much when we counsel patients on medications.
Yeah.
Today, our ASCII specified on discharge as well as medication recollection.
Yeah, and that was a lot of fun.
That was a kick to the balls.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it was.
And I thought I was doing good with it. How did you feel about it?
I felt the first part was really good, which is just pretty much just asking a made-up patient, a fiction patient, how many medications they're on and how many dosing and whatnot, or what the dosing is.
Yeah, that's the medication reconciliation
And then
part.
the discharge, I pretty much prepared for certain answers for them to give me. And then when they didn't, I was very confused and I was kind of like having a little freak out in front of the patient or the actor.
Yeah. Well, because this is simulating to be like a patient staying at a hospital, for example. They came in because something happened to them, my patient pretty much just had a infection, and we just pretty much had to see what happened throughout their stay, but we didn't really go into that. We just mainly focused on, when they came in, we just had to get like what they were taking prior to visitation, making sure that once going through their whole course of treatment throughout the hospital stay, they don't have any interactions or anything like that. When we're trying to make sure they are treated safely and effectively. To me, that was an easy part. The other part that kind of messed me up was our discharge portion, which is pretty much where the patient they're feeling a lot better and they're getting ready to go home essentially. But our job as pharmacists is just to go over with them,
Any new changes?
any new changes in medications, or we're going to add a medication to your regimen, and then we just got to make sure you know what you're taking and how to take it effectively and safely, essentially. And that kind of kicked me in the butt, essentially.
Yeah, we both had medications that we weren't very prepared on it.
Yeah. I mean, I knew what mine were about. It was a weird curveball that they threw at us that kind of threw me off for a second. Because I knew it was going to be something that was important, or that was important for my part. I never really went in depth of it than what our professors have taught us.
Yeah.
So
I just can't wait to see the recording.
Oh, I don't want to watch the recording.
Everyone's gonna look like a dumb bitch. It's gonna be hilarious.
I'm not ready to make mine.
It's gonna be rough. Yesterday we had our lab practical, which was sterile compounding, so that wasn't bad.
I like that. I like doing it.
It wasn't bad. I don't know if I want to do that the rest of my life.
Really?
So it's kind of interesting. I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
I like the aspect of it. You're going into this cool lab where you have to gown up, you have to do specific procedures, it's called for us milking a vial. So if you imagine milking a cow, that's how we have to get our liquid out of a vial in order to keep it sterile or aseptic, essentially. And to me, I like learning about it, and it was interesting doing that type of processes because I like being hands-on with stuff, doing labs. I know from our last semester we were able to make suspensions, ointments, and all that, and I enjoy doing it as well. And the gels, all of that stuff was interesting to me as well. So I kind of want to focus my career in the future essentially into doing more compounding.
Well, you want to go into pediatric pharmacy, is that right? That's your goal?
That's my goal, is pediatrics. So
Nothing else?
Maybe compounding strictly, but I do like working with kids just based off what I've done in the past.
Your retail job.
In my retail. So I want to focus a lot more with it, and then instead of having them look better, I want to help them feel better on the inside, which is a goal of mine, because they're the future. They're going to be the ones that are going to eventually take care of us. So
lots of suspensions which is just a liquid form of the medication.
Yeah, and it's pretty much we have to crush up tablets that of the medication they're taking, and then we had to add liquid into it. And I remember the liquid we used, I remember when I poured it into our mortar and pestle to mix it, it made my mouth actually water because it smelled so sweet. I don't know.
Can't say I had the same experience.
It smelled nice, and it was in the morning. Also, it was 9 o'clock in the morning. I never ate breakfast yet. I was hungry, so it made me really want to eat something really sweet, for breakfast or something.
Yeah, because you have class at 9 a.m.
Oh, we love a 9 a.m.
I got lab at noon. even
Yeah,
though I wake up just as early as everyone else. Crave a donut. But yeah, my lab practical, I pretty much messed up. I inserted the needle in the wrong port.
oh my goodness.
So that was fun. I got to redo the whole thing. And then from there, other than that, it was pretty much fine. But the case I had was the longest one yet. So
Yeah, mine was pretty easy. I just had to assemble like, okay, use this thing that is worth like a bunch of money, insert it into a vial, and then you got to use another device to insert it into the IV bag. Using that vial thing, you got to take out your liquid, and then once you get your liquid or dose out, then you just add it to the system because it's supposed to be called a closed system transfer or something like that, where it's supposed to be super sterile, and this is normally used for chemotherapy drugs. So obviously chemotherapy drugs, you want this as aseptic as you can. So using this system makes it a lot easier for pharmacists or pharmacy techs or anyone that does sterile compounding to use this type of system.
yeah,
So
and that's what I want to go into is oncology. I don't know why. Puts on a light when I think about it. Like I see myself going into oncology, and that's a retail maybe depends on how the job experience or job hunting will be like. But my goal would essentially be in oncology in a hospital as well. As of right now, I've not had any experience in the pharmacy, unfortunately. So,
yeah, same.
well, you got a pharmacy tech job, so
Yeah, I'll be doing that once school is over. So I have a weekend to myself to mentally prepare, I guess, even though I'll probably just
you'll
play
be
some
fine.
video games.
They'll
But
train you very well.
I know, I'm just nervous because like I feel like even though I feel like we've learned a lot, at the same time I'm like, have I kept it? Have kept that information in there?
This internship this summer is going to be very interesting.
Very interesting 3 weeks. So
Yeah, I'm sure the first few shifts are going to be very rough. And then the rest of the 2 weeks is going to be a breeze.
yeah, what's kind of weird for me is like I don't start till like later on. So like I'm gonna be actually working as a pharmacy intern before I start my rotation. So like I feel
Oh
like
yeah, you'll be prepared then.
I'll be somewhat prepared. So like that'll
Because
be
you're both doing community for your job as well as the
yeah.
intern.
It's pretty much it's a community job and it's pretty much essentially the same thing. It's just under different companies. I'll know hopefully what to do, but I'm assuming their systems for like
The systems will be
it's gonna be
very
way
different.
completely different, and I have to be trained on that. That'll be a fun experience to do. But it's for 3 weeks, and how many hours is like 40 hours each week.
Yeah.
And we have to just do a couple assignments throughout the time and submit it, and that's it. So
It'll be interesting. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah.
I'm just excited for something different. Every summer in the past, I've just had to grind work out the whole summer. So this would definitely be a nice change.
yeah,
It
I know.
does suck that we have to pay to work for free, though.
Essentially, which is like I understand the aspect, but it's like, come on, it's so dumb. We're paying just to get only because our college requires it, and it's part of our licensing, getting our license or whatever. So there's benefits and
Got to have a
negatives.
certain amount of hours.
Exactly.
So we have finals next week.
Oh,
How
don't
do you
even
feel about that?
don't even start. I'm so stressed on this right now. I mean, we only have what 4 finals, but they occur every day, Monday through Thursday.
Yep, and most of them are at 8 or 9 a.m.
Exactly. And I don't know. This is why this weekend is gonna suck for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not too worried. Last semester really had me freaked out. But again, most of our exams are online open notes, so I'm not too worried. We do have a closed note. I mean, and then half the exams are not even cumulative.
Yeah.
They're just the last like 2-3 weeks worth of material we have.
Which is a good benefit, but I haven't watched the lectures yet.
Yeah, I still need to watch those. That's what tomorrow's here for.
Yeah. I know we sound like bad pharmacy students, but we're not. Sometimes.
I'm a very big procrastinator.
Yeah.
Especially compared to everyone else we know.
You know, we just love prioritizing doing our podcast instead of pharmacy school, you know? Well, today especially, like, it was a long morning, you know, for our OSCE.
Yeah,
So.
our OSCEs were both at like 8:30, so it wasn't too bad, but still kind of early. Anyways, one thing we wanted to talk about was vaccines. The news with Johnson & Johnson vaccine came out a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate, but we thought we would talk about kind of like our own experience with our vaccines. We both are fully vaccinated. I've been since March. You've also been since March, right?
Yeah, I think by March. I think we were like a week apart or something. But I have the Moderna.
Yeah, Moderna.
And then you have what?
Pfizer.
It still works out the same way. You know, I feel like it's better for us as healthcare professionals to get this type of vaccine instead of like the Johnson & Johnson, even though it was, what, 67% effective on what the
Roughly.
needs?
I thought it increased a little bit more to like 80-ish.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah,
So,
but one-time dose is up in the air as well. Most vaccines do require multiple doses,
yeah,
which
especially with these ones, they're in the news recently. They might ask like people that got the Moderna vaccine to get a third dose,
oh
like
really?
in fall, is what I've seen.
I didn't hear that at all.
It might be the same thing for Pfizer also. It'll be very interesting like how this thing's developing because obviously these vaccines essentially rushed, but like they are still being injected to everyone. So
Well, everyone's saying it's going to be like a flu shot. So like we're going to need this immunity every year.
yeah.
It's going to be rough if we have to take a third dose in the fall.
Oh yeah.
More volunteer opportunities.
Yay.
Because we recently both just got immunization certified. You actually gave the COVID vaccine, right?
Yeah, pretty much once I got certified back in what was it, January or so. Give it a couple weeks later, our college was collaborating with the health department that was in town and asked if there was any pharmacy students that wanted to help out with vaccinations. And obviously you had to be certified. And this is a cool opportunity, especially in my perspective, saying that like, oh, as a pharmacy student, my first vaccine to give to someone was a COVID vaccine. And like that's like a cool opportunity to say to someone instead of like other pharmacy students prior, not to show off,
Just give
flu shots or just even basic like tetanus shots or whatever. And even giving a COVID vaccine to someone, I felt like that was pretty cool. So
Yeah, you can definitely hold your head up high with that one.
a little pride of that. So
Almost definitely.
yeah.
Do you want to talk about maybe your experience with Moderna?
With Moderna, so getting the vaccine, it wasn't bad. The first dose, especially, it was pretty chill. All I had was just a little bit of arm pain. I didn't really have a fever or anything like that, no headaches or anything towards that. But my second dose is what kind of kicked me in the butt also. During that time, I think what did we do? I think the day of we got the vaccine, for me, I think we had a little.
I think you drank by yourself that night.
Oh, I did. I forgot. Yeah, I think everyone was gone. And I was lonely, so I was like, "Oh, let's have a little drink to myself," you know.
There's nothing wrong with that every once in a while.
Yeah, it was a stressful. I feel like that week also was stressful because we probably had some sort of exam.
Yeah, like two or three exams.
So I was like, let me treat myself. I'll just drink a little bit, watch a couple movies to de-stress, you know. Yeah, I did get a little tipsy, but then I did have a little hangover, and on top of that, I had my kick in the butt with the side effects of this vaccine.
So you had pain in your arm, right?
Yeah,
Noticeable pain.
yeah,
Throughout
it
the
was
day?
like injection site pain.
Okay.
Yeah, which is very common only because that's how vaccines are. Funny enough, this is what we learned is it's most of the vaccines, the liquid is technically called a suspension, and once it's injected, it forms like a little ball, I guess, called a depot effect. That's why when you feel still pain in your arm because the vaccine liquid is still being transported throughout the interstitial fluid, trying to distribute into the bloodstream for the vaccine to go flow throughout your whole entire body. So that's why most vaccines that you guys get, you'll still get the arm pain. But obviously this will go down within time. And it's always good to keep your arm in motion. Like obviously, I've seen on TikTok, people are doing windmills with their arm after they get the vaccine.
I've never had any arm pain, not at least the day after. So I think.
Oh really? You haven't had arm pain?
No, never. I've had a lot of vaccines, but never like I've had arm pain like immediately after, but nothing like a day after, even the next day after.
Really?
Nothing that not noticeable. A little pressure on it, yes, clearly, but not noticeable. That's why I've been hearing a lot of people who do get the vaccine that it seems like it's more common to have these site injection pains, which
I mean, everyone has their own type of reaction to the vaccine. You know, some people can have side effects. Some people don't even get side effects, which happened to pretty much to your girlfriend. Essentially, got the vaccine.
Yeah. So my girlfriend, she got Pfizer, the same one as me. She got it a couple weeks earlier. When she got her second dose, surprise, surprise, we had a few drinks. She woke up and felt fine the next day. So zero symptoms whatsoever. We all kind of got that idea of all drinking the night before or the night of the vaccine or like a couple hours later.
My correlation was like, okay, get super drunk the day you get your vaccine. That way you don't get side effects. Something like my big brain thing should be thing. But obviously, don't. I feel like it's wrong to
No,
do
don't
that.
do that.
So don't listen to us. We just
That's,
thought it was funny that this was how it would be a funny correlation. But obviously, don't
yeah, it's
drink.
more of a joke, but then pretty much everyone tried it. Like you did it, and then you felt like shit the next day.
Yeah.
I did it, and it hit me like a truck.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think I would ever have symptoms to this vaccine because my girlfriend and I were around each other so much. We have similar immune systems.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured since she didn't get anything, maybe I won't. Or at least that was my thought. But no, I had a maybe 12 hours later, and that just hit me. I started feeling sore all over the body.
Mm-hmm.
I was still a little toasted, so or drunk. And I immediately went to bed. So, and then I woke up and I couldn't even like move my body.
Yeah.
It was just so much pain everywhere, just sore.
Yeah.
And I have never felt anything like that. And anytime I do get sick, it's nothing that extreme, just so many body aches
Yeah.
all over. So it was a fun time trying to get out of bed. And then once I got to the couch where I stayed literally the entire day, my girlfriend checked my temperature and I had a high fever. So that was fun. So I had a fever and I was just in so much pain all over my body.
Mm-hmm.
So I pretty much just took Tylenol, which I believe is what you're allowed to take. You're not allowed to take NSAIDs, from what I've heard, which is ibuprofen and naproxen.
Mm-hmm.
I did not expect it, and that whole day I was just on the couch, like I said, just it's so much pain. And then the next day I even felt it for a good half the time as well.
Mm-hmm.
Not a fun experience.
It's
for
not.
me. Well, you had a similar situation, right?
Yeah, mine was pretty much similar to what you had. Like, you had the arm pain, you had the whole body aches and all that. And when I think I woke up like at 4 o'clock in the morning and I felt like crap. So like
Yeah,
I
that's
was
the
I was
worst time to
thirsty
feel
also.
that, yeah.
Yeah, and I had to go to the bathroom and do stuff. Yeah, I had the whole body aches, and I think also I got my second dose Saturday, so Sunday was supposed to be my rest day to like compensate for feeling anything. And I think Monday we might have had an exam on something.
I think so.
So that was a fun time to like study for an exam and try not to feel like crap throughout the whole day doing that. So that was fun doing it. Yeah, all I did, I woke up, I was really hungry, so I had to cook breakfast to like make my system feel better. I just couldn't move the whole day. I was like, why am I trying to get up? Why am I trying to do this? I feel like I should just lay in bed and just watch TV all day and not do anything. But I had to do stuff. I had to study because exams freaking suck. I had to push myself to like, all right, just go move from your bed to your study table and just study if you
Your
can.
desk, yeah.
My desk and study if you can. And if not, you can just go back to bed and lay a little bit. And I did take like a little nap somehow and felt a little bit better, but like throughout the day I just felt like shit in my gut. And I did take Tylenol also. Technically you're not supposed to, is from what I've heard.
Oh,
but
really?
you can, but like from what I learned about counseling patients getting the vaccine, especially their second dose, the nurses there told us you're not really supposed to take it. But then my mother, who is actually a nurse, said that she recommends taking Tylenol if you feel any pain or anything like that from your second dose. It's like mixed things around it, but obviously you should not take Tylenol or any drugs before you get your vaccine.
No, definitely not. That's a big no.
Yeah.
It's funny because you got your second dose from not only our classmate but one of our friends.
Yeah.
And then I got my first dose from a classmate. So when you live in a small town like this, pretty much the only ones who are doing vaccinations are the nursing students or the college of pharmacy students.
Which is really cool also because it's like, also, this is our friend Megan, that she had the opportunity to give me my vaccine. I even have it on video, and it's also funny to like show off, like, yeah, Megan, you caused me to feel like crap, so I'm blaming you for all of this. And yeah, it was pretty cool because it's a cool opportunity to help, especially increase the amount of people getting the vaccines. It's a good opportunity. It's good on your resumes. It's good networking, good things for you to advance your career in, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Pretty much the symptoms are all up in the air. I know people who nothing happened to, and then I know people that had the same thing that happened to me, just really bad, or us, very bad symptoms. So it's kind of up in the air. But what can you do?
Yeah.
If you want to get vaccinated, get vaccinated. We're not here to push you to get vaccinated. If you don't want to, of course, that's your own choice.
Yep, it's your own belief. You choose what you think. We're not gonna force you. It's just like it's a good thing to get it. You're reducing the chance. We want to end this pandemic as much as we can. You know.
So do you want to talk about Johnson and Johnson now?
I guess so. That'll be interesting because, as you see in the news, probably when they first said it, like last 2 weeks ago or something, there was a thing where they actually removed the Johnson and Johnson vaccine.
It's taken off the market.
Yep. Just today, as the recording of this podcast, there was
back before today. Back then, it was recorded as
six. Yeah.
Six women were found to have rare blood clot. Is that correct?
Yeah, they called it a cerebral venous sinus thrombosis. Pretty much, it's a rare disease that prevents blood from draining out of the brain, and the blood cells can break and leak into the brain tissue, forming a hemorrhage. Yeah, very scary.
That's intense.
This is what we've read from one of our upperclassmen who sent us this email saying that she was able to attend one of these meetings and told us a couple pointers of this information. And like reading that kind of scares me, and I feel a little paranoid about it.
That's the cool part about being in pharmacy school is there's conferences and meetings nonstop. Where as terrible as I sound, COVID-19 is just this enormous like medical bomb or bomb. I don't know.
Medical like explosion
of knowledge. Yeah, like there's so much opportunity as pharmacy students to attend these conferences, learn more, hear it from physicians that experienced it themselves. So it's really cool to have these opportunities.
Definitely.
This is like once in a lifetime.
Yeah. Like we're never gonna see this type of thing. Like other like future pharmacy students, like they're probably in high school or for example or middle school right now. They're not going to really have this type of experience, whereas we kind of got lucky learning about it because it's so interesting. It's crazy how this stuff is happening, and like we're living literally through a pandemic, and the last pandemic was probably 100 years ago or so.
Yeah, even like the P4s, which all they do during their fourth year is rotations, and there's so many opportunities and so many people needed. They've opened up COVID vaccinations as a rotation for P4s. So we've both have met people during testing who were P4s that have done it for like half the year of vaccinating.
Yeah, which is crazy because that's like literally you're just doing. I mean, also this is like your infectious disease or epidemiology studies, like looking into vaccinations, especially helping out with the students. Testing, we got to see like how many people have been tested, especially our asymptomatic clinic that we have at our college. Testing students, especially those that are trying to play sports. And that's what we've helped out doing also.
We've both done quite a bit of testing.
So
quite a bit.
Yeah, quite a bit. It's like also to help us do our part and gain volunteer opportunities, Because like I feel like before COVID even hit, like what would be our volunteer opportunities in pharmacy school? I guess like doing health clinics, like doing blood pressure checks or
flu shot clinics.
Flu shots,
But yeah, nothing as close as this, which is just nuts to think about.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
You're gonna mention news today.
Yeah, so the news today is what I've seen is that 15 women were diagnosed, similar to like what I said was the cerebral venous sinus thrombosis. They were diagnosed with another thrombosis.
There's another one?
I feel like it's similar from what I can see compared to it. Type. Just a different title, I guess, where it's a thrombocytopenia syndrome. I don't know what it really means. I feel like I should do more research on it. But pretty much there was 3 people that died from it. 7 remained hospitalized, and then the 5 are doing better at least.
This isn't good.
So it's kind of scary, especially coming this from the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. And another thing that's more scary is it's only been women that's been experiencing this. No men who have received the Johnson & Johnson vaccine have experienced any of these type of symptoms of this type of blood clots. So the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, it is pretty interesting because it is way different than what our Moderna and Pfizer vaccine is made. So I guess it can be the reason why there's these amount of side effects, especially with the blood clots. It's because it's a deactivated adenovirus instead of the mRNA virus or mRNA vaccine that is in Moderna
and
Pfizer. And pretty much once you get the injection, it just goes inside the cells and it travels through the nucleus, that's where your DNA is stored. And then it puts its DNA into the nucleus, and this will then make your spike protein, which is then recognized by your immune system, causing your body to produce these antibodies to this threat of coronavirus. So
Whereas with the mRNA, it just jumps a few more steps.
essentially,
Yeah,
yeah.
it just jumps straight to the protein making
Mm-hmm.
versus doing a couple more of those steps.
Yeah, so I feel like that could be a correlation
I'm
as to
sure
why.
that is a
Yeah,
correlation.
obviously we did kind of dabble learning about coronavirus throughout our pharmacy curriculum, but obviously we're still learning a lot more about it, even because this thing happened like last year, so there's still a bunch of news in the air about vaccine statuses, about the coronavirus molecule itself, and all that. So obviously a bunch of research is still being done. So
Yeah, well, I mean, there's updates every week. Like we have a professor that does like a 2 hour meeting every week going over the new COVID-19 updates. So it's very interesting. I've caught in a few of those. It's like I said, it's very interesting to see how much it's like changing every week. All the new information,
it's
but
just, and you keep seeing it on like everywhere, and it's like never ending stuff, like updates on it. There could be like new side effects they're seeing. Like I remember when coronavirus started, like when they said like one of the newer side effects that the CDC found was loss of taste and smell, was like a very big indication that you do have the coronavirus, you do have COVID essentially. And like that was like I remember that was like a huge impact when we were trying to figure out testing. So it's just never ending stuff, and it's scary. Don't get me wrong. I want this to be over with, because it's just so.
just want to go to the movies.
Yeah.
All the movies got pushed back.
Yeah.
That's the biggest, one of the biggest impact it had on me.
Yeah.
'Cause like I said, we used to go to the movies every week.
Oh, you guys did?
Yeah.
That was like our family also. We just always, especially I remember our Marvel days, we just always went to movies, like whenever those came out and stuff.
One of the last things we wanted to talk about was the myths of getting the vaccine. Pretty much the two biggest ones that have stuck out to us have been the altering of DNA and then infertility. Do you want to talk a little bit about altering the DNA?
So altering the DNA, like I understand why people are saying that it can do that, but just from us learning it as a mechanistic style throughout our career, it doesn't, obviously, because this is how our body produces the antibodies. Is it'll if, like I said, from, let's, for example, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, the adenovirus will transport the DNA into your system, but then it'll translate it, going make the mRNA, then it'll make the spike protein. It's not really altering any part of your DNA itself. It's just using the ribosomes, which will make the mRNA, then it'll form the protein, which essentially is the spike protein for coronavirus. That's what antibodies in our system will recognize and attack it and prevent us from getting COVID, essentially, or any other virus that uses that type of system.
Pretty much when we're getting injected in a vaccine, a vaccine is injected in us, whether it's alive or not, our body is able to identify that foreign object, an antigen, and then create antibodies. And then when that antigen or foreign body comes back, those antibodies know how to locate it because they've seen it before, and they figure out a way to destroy it with the T cells. So it's pretty much the same thing with COVID-19. Infertility in a vaccine, I don't think will ever be possible, especially not a COVID-19 vaccine. So, like I said before, the vaccine makes antibodies, and the COVID vaccine makes the antibodies for the spike protein, which is the common protein. And the protein that deals with embryo implantations is the syncytin 1 protein that deals with embryo implantations. The only way that's able to do that is if the antibodies were to attack or identify that protein. And the only way that would ever happen is if the spike protein and then the syncytin 1 protein were to look the same. But they don't. They're two entirely different proteins. So if that myth of infertility actually, if it were to came true, we would have been infertile long ago. Because then our antibodies were so dumb to mistake a spike protein, same thing, and the syncytin 1 protein, a common infection like the flu virus would have
done the same thing.
Yeah, it would have made everyone infertile, or all the women. But yeah, it would have just never. It's not possible. It's not gonna work.
Yeah, it's just like sucks that like there's these myths that go around. I remember when our first day of school, we learned about like more about the myths of vaccines, and like this is what our job as pharmacists and probably nurses and doctors as well is to like tell patients why it's important to get vaccinated and tell them that these myths have been busted essentially. You know, there are reasonings why these myths can be disproven. Especially, I remember, like I said, back to our first day, there was
Autism.
the autism. Yeah, vaccines causing autism, but
Zero correlation.
there's very obviously there was zero correlation. And the paper, I kind of like skimmed through it when I first looked at it.
The article's rough.
It was rough, and it was redacted essentially, meaning that it's actually disproven that it does not cause autism.
Yep, there were studies literally trying to prove if it caused autism, and nothing has concluded that it has.
The guy that wrote this tried to like find some things to like make it work, but obviously there's stuff that can be disproven.
And mind you, he had his medical license removed because of this article.
There's a
So,
lot.
do you want to trust someone who's not a doctor anymore?
Yeah, I don't. And like it's the same thing. Like I understand there's stuff that you can see in the news and like friends that have experienced it, but you know, obviously we're just here to tell this. Not really. We're kind of here to disprove it, but at the same time, we do think vaccines are important. But obviously, this to our listeners, you do what you want to do. You know, we're not here to tell you that you should just get vaccinated, even though we highly do. But you have your own belief system. I have my own. We have our own beliefs. We just think this is our better reasoning as to why you should get it. And then one final myth I just want to elaborate is that people think that getting a vaccine, you're going to get microchipped.
No chance. That's never gonna happen.
Like, I understand. I see why people could think that. But microchips, and like, obviously with technology, this is doable.
There's not a chip that's gonna be small enough to fit in a needle.
Yeah, exactly. And like, okay, but obviously you guys are listening to us on one of our websites on YouTube or Spotify, so that it's probably on a laptop or even on your phone.
Yeah, smartphone.
Your smartphone, like an iPhone, it has, guess what it has? It has a GPS in your phone. So that means the government's going to still track you. Your car, if your car has one of those special GPSs built into it, there's a GPS in there and the government can still track you that way.
There is a good chance there is a way that it's very unlikely that you're gonna be off the grid. If you have a smartphone, like someone can track your location. So unless you drive a 1980 car and still use a flip phone, even then, still pretty possible they can still track
find
you. Yeah. So microchips, no. I don't know. I never understood how that myth came about.
Like, I get it's funny because the government's going to track us, but the government has been tracking us no matter, to this day. They probably know where we're at right now. If you're lucky enough to like hack into our thing, you can probably find where we're at.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
It's just dumb. Like, microchips, it's just funny. And I love seeing memes like on like Reddit and stuff like that. Like saying, yeah, I got especially with COVID. Yeah, I got my microchip today, guys. Can't wait. Have fun finding me, guys.
Oh.
Yeah, my friend who got her vaccine, I think a couple weeks ago. Yeah, she posted on her Snapchat story, got microchip today, y'all.
Oh my god.
It's just a funny thing.
Yeah.
And like, I don't, to
As long as
me,
you have good fun with it.
yeah, I have fun with it. It's just funny because obviously it's a myth, only because, like I said, there's everything else that's tracking you anyways. So like, what's the point at this time? You know, the government knows where we're at, and
Right.
I'll safely admit it. I don't care if they find me.
No.
So
At this point. All right, guys. Those were our thoughts on pretty much the vaccine in general, and kind of a little tidbit of what our pharmacy school has been like so far, or just this week. Really, not so
yeah,
far.
it's been a week. Yeah.
It's just been a week, and then finals next week. So you might not get a podcast for a little while.
Yeah, we're gonna be studying, quote unquote.
Yeah.
No, we will. We will. Don't worry.
I mean, I'm going on vacation next week too.
Lucky.
So excited.
I'll be starting my job, which is fun.
Yeah, also lucky.
But yeah, hopefully our next episode we will be talking about.
Ooh, next episode's a giant Marvel episode.
Ooh.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, this is a preview. We're going to be talking about our top 10 Marvel movies.
Yep.
And maybe we'll elaborate on what happened, what we thought, our thoughts on Falcon and Winter Soldier.
No, we're definitely elaborating on what our thoughts
for
are.
sure?
Yeah, we're doing like the whole series. I felt like the last episode we kind of we just touched on it. I feel like, I don't know why, we just didn't.
We didn't wait on it.
Yeah, we didn't wait on it. Yeah.
But we were
kind of rushed
excited.
it. Yeah, we were excited and then kind of ran out of things to talk about. Or we weren't really looking for things to talk about. So this definite, like tomorrow's episode, tomorrow's when we're going to film it. But the next episode, we're for sure going to have a more detailed, organized kind
Thought
of
process.
all of our thoughts. And there's going to be way more than the little we talked about during the
Our last podcast.
episode.
Yeah.
And also got to bring back Invincible. I really wanted to wait, but today's episode fucking blew me away. So we had to talk about it.
Oh, for sure. I'm excited. My mouth was like, what the fuck?
Well, you said you enjoyed it more than...
I enjoyed this way better than the new episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
So I've yet to watch it, so that's a shock to find out.
Yeah.
Makes me a little sad.
Don't worry. They're both enjoyable. I'll just say that. It's just like Invincible just had a lot more to show off.
Yeah, Invincible. So. Yeah, I pretty much had my mouth drop during like the second half of the entire show.
Yeah.
So, anyways, you guys can reach us at YouTube or Spotify. If you have any questions, please tweet at us or message us privately.
Give us options of what you think we should talk about as well.
Yes,
please
give us like questions or anything like
anything
that.
we
would
want.
love
It doesn't
to hear
matter.
it.
And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.
Have a good one.